From massive grizzlies to the smallest stream-dwelling fish, Idaho's wildlife is impacted by the state's growing population. A new plan aims to balance conservation with increasing demands on our natural resources. Jude Binkley joins us now with how Idaho Fish and Game plans to adapt its approach while also staying true to its core mission. Jude.
Well, Hunter, Idaho Fish and Game says in the 10 years since writing their last overarching strategic plan, the state's landscape and environment has changed quite dramatically. They say there's a need to maintain a proper balance between humans and the environment. The elk, deer, and other wild residents that call Idaho home are treasures of the Gem State. With the growing number of people populating Idaho threatening to disrupt the landscape, Idaho Fish and Game is re-evaluating how it manages wildlife.
Growth is a big part of it, outdoor recreation, a lot more demands on the finite resources that we have out there.
For the first time in a decade, the department is drafting a fresh strategic plan, though their core mission remains unchanged.
Sustaining Idaho's fish and wildlife, that's always going to be a core value or a core objective of what we do.
The updated plan aims to use new and different strategies to accomplish their goals.
I think there are some things that were on our radar 10 years ago, but now they're a little bit more front and center.
For example, habitat loss is a much greater concern for the agency now.
We see more energy development, we see more urban development. There's just a lot of changes with habitat. So how do we position ourselves to do the best that we can under the existing framework, the existing demands on wildlife habitat?
Idaho Fish and Game Director Jim Frederick says one of the things they're looking at is working more with private landowners and ag producers because although the state is about 2/3 public lands, he says the private lands are just as crucial for wildlife management and recreation.
A lot of that private land is very, very important in terms of fishing, hunting, outdoor recreation. How do we work with landowners to try to position ourselves to keep that open as much as possible?
Another priority for the agency is taking more command over diseases, which have become more prominent in the state since their last plan.
Now with chronic wasting disease on the landscape here in Idaho, other diseases that affect deer like EHD in primarily northern Idaho, those are here to stay. And so I think it is going to take a different focus on our part.
And this broader strategic plan is being reworked while Fish and Game also writes individual species management plans for animals like deer and elk. Those aim to balance these species populations with their impacts on the environment. And Hunter Fish and Game is taking feedback through town halls really across the state. And we will have a list of those and their dates and times on our web story at ktvb.com.
Yeah, this is your time to get involved because they're talking about it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jude.